Hare Krishna Prabhu. Sorry for the technical problem. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. So today the topic is given, it's again a very high philosophical topic which has been given to me by Krishna's mercy and by the blessings of all the devotees. I will try my best to explain this for your understanding. So this uh, presentation, I hope, Prabhu, are you able to see the presentation, Prabhu? Hare Krishna.
We are able to see, Mata.
Okay, Prabhu. Okay, Mataji. Okay, Hare Krishna. So, this is again the very high philosophical topic, which is the Lord Kapila's instruction, which is from starting from chapter 28 to chapter 31 of Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto. So, let us begin with the Mangalacharan. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीर्यये नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं श्रीपरमानन्दमाधवं श्रीधरम् हरि ओम tat sat. So this topic is completely about the instructions what Lord Kapila is giving on the request of Mother Devahuti. So let's begin. So this is these are the chapters we are going to cover today. Instructions of the devotional. The chapter 28 is talking about the instructions of the devotional service. 29 is about explanation of the devotional service, and chapter 30 talks about the adverse fruitive activities, and chapter 31 talks about the movements of living entities. So first, before going into the chapter, I would let us see the appearance of Lord Kapila. Though it has been covered very nicely yesterday by Her Grace Anuradha Mataji and Harinam Prabhu. Just we will have a recap of this for the newcomers today if anyone has joined. So the appearance of Lord Kapila is, he is the son of Kardama Muni and Devahuti. As we all know, Kardama Muni is the son of Brahma, and he is also one of the Prajapati, and Devahuti is the daughter of Swayambhuva Manu and Satarupa, and she got married to Kardama Muni, and it has been the arrangement of the Lord again, because Brahma wanted to have the progeny, because it is the instruction of the Lord that to Brahma that he has to increase the progeny. So it has been the instruction of Lord Brahma that this has to be done. So Lord personally appeared to Kardama Muni after his severe penance. So Kardama Muni was doing a severe penance in the bank of Saraswati, and he wanted a good wife who can deliver good children to spread this the spiritual knowledge to everyone. So then because of the severe penance the law Kardama Muni is undergoing, the Lord was very much pleased, and then he comes and then he appears in the womb of Devahuti as Lord Kapila. So why does Lord Kapila appear? What is his purpose? The main purpose of Lord Kapila is to disseminate the transcendental knowledge for the benefit of humanity. So actually there are different times Lord appears in a different Leela, different avatars, and as also it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, yada yada hi dharmasya dhyanir bhavati bharata abhyukthanam adharmasya tadadmanam srajamyaham. Lord appears, that he says that I manifest in this religion, in this world, to sometimes to uproot the religion or to give this knowledge to others. So here Lord Kapila is appearing to give this transcendental knowledge for the benefit of the humanity. So that is the main purpose of Lord appearing as Kapila. And to explain the devotional service, which is the highest of all yogas. There are people were doing so many other yogas, by which there are different yogas which has been mentioned in Bhagavad Gita also. We have seen, like Arjuna was asking Lord Krishna to explain all the yoga systems. Though Arjuna is a pure devotee of the Lord, he knows that only through bhakti he can attain the Supreme Lord. But still, for the benefit of the entire humanity, he asked that, to Lord, that please explain all the yoga, which is the different paths, how we can approach, we can attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For example, in the Bhagavad Gita, it starts from the chapter 5, Karma Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and then he talks about the the Bhakti Yoga, which is the most confidential knowledge. So it's called as the yoga ladder, which takes as steps towards the highest perfection, which is the attaining the Supreme Lord. Actually, yoga means it is a process of linking oneself to the Supreme. So any type of yoga we take, the process what we undergo is the ultimate goal should be that we have to attain the Supreme Lord. So it can be any, even the Patanjali yoga, which is said that the target of all this yoga is to attain, to know who is Vishnu. So any yoga we take it, that the real purpose is to the link oneself to the Supreme Lord. So so it is explained here, different yoga systems, like how Arjuna was asked here. Even Lord Kapila is explaining the entire yoga. So in the previous chapters, like Harinam Prabhu was explaining that all those things, and even here we will be seeing some of the Sankhya philosophy. This is actually the Sankhya philosophy. Lord Kapila explains that how in different yoga ladder we can attain the Lord. Also, he explains the pure devotional service, the pure bhakti yoga, which is what we are going to see today. So here we will see the first chapter, which is talks about Kapila's instructions on the execution of devotional service. So the first thing is to there are different instructions. The whole chapter is talking about how we have to execute the devotional service. So the first and foremost is that he says that one should concentrate the mind in the lotus feet of the Lord, which is joyful, and it helps to progress one in the devotional service. So it talks about the how to fix our mind in the lotus feet of the Lord and to do the devotional service. And out of all the other yogas, this is easy and it is very joyful to perform. So that is what he says in the first shloka. He says, though there are different yogas are there, like it is mentioned from different shlokas, that the Ashtanga yoga, which is called the eightfold yoga, where one has to focus on it starts like yama, niyama, asana, pranayama. Even our Grace Jagan Prabhu explained very beautifully yesterday in the end of the class, that how with the presentation, that how the Ashtanga yoga has been described. So I'm not going detail into that now, but this has been very beautifully explained, that how the Ashtanga yoga helps one to fix their mind in the lotus feet of the Lord. So then next he's talking about the next instruction he gives is Swadharma Acharanam and Vidarna Nivartanam. Means one should follow one's prescribed duties and should avoid the duties that is not allocated to us. So always in the spiritual activity, if we see, there is always a pravritti and nivarti. There is some activities that we have to do and there are some activities that we should not do. So there is some activities that we should do is follow one prescribed duties also, like we have to follow the 4 regulative principles and do the chanting for like that. We have to follow one prescribed duties. Means whatever according to our social order, we have to follow that. So like even a brahmana, he should do his brahmanical service. If he is a kshatriya, he has to do his kshatriya duties. According to our nature, we have to select the dharma and then we have to do that. So avoid duties not allocated to that is that we should not do something that is not allocated to us. We should not imitate somebody, then we should do certain duties. That is not allowed. He says it's not being encouraged in this. So he says swadharma acharanam and vidharma nivartanam. And the next thing he says is atma vid charanam. So actually, even in the Swadharma, there is one more point that we have to understand. What the Swadharma is, one's constitutional position of a living entity is to serve the Supreme Lord. That is very, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Jivera Swarupahoy Nityara Krishnadas. That one's constitutional position is to always be a servant of the Lord. One should understand that, and then we have to do our duties, connecting the Lord in everything. So next is talking about Atma with Charana Acharanam. Means what? That one should surrender and worship the lotus feet of spiritual master. So Atma means Atma is the soul, and Charana means the lotus feet, and Archana means worship. So one should surrender at the lotus feet of the spiritual master and do his duty. Means that like as mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, it says Tatvidi Pranipartena Pariprashnena Sevaya. So we have to surrender at the lotus feet of the spiritual master, do menial services unto him, please him by the service, and inquire the knowledge from him, which he can impart into our heart. So the spiritual knowledge is not, it's not just given like how we are doing. It has to be imparted into the heart. How that will be done? Only when we surrender and do pleasing service to the spiritual master, inquire him in a nice pleasing way. Then the spiritual master, he gives this knowledge to understand. So that is one thing. Next, what he talks about is the Gramya Dharma Nivarti. Means one has to cease the conventional religious activity, karma kanda activities. What is that karma kanda activities? Means one should not do activities that is for sense gratification or for the economic development. So just because the karma kanda is just for our own sense pleasure. So doing something for our own sense pleasure is it's not a religious activity. So that we should avoid when we want to progress in our when we want to execute our devotional service. Next, he says about mita medhyadanam, means eating limitedly. That is one. If you want to if any yoga in that matter, if you want to perform any yoga, so they say that don't eat full stomach. You have to keep your stomach little light in this thing, so that we can focus on the yoga. So in that matter, so even the spiritual yoga, when we want to practice, we cannot just eat unlimited. We have to eat limitedly. That too, it's mentioned in the scriptures that we have to eat half of the stomach, and then we have to take one quarter of water and quarter of the stomach, as we have to leave it for air passing through. This is actually for what? It is for keeping our body health. That is, if we are doing this, the indigestions or the disease will not happen. Srila Prabhupada says that if our body is completely maintained with full health, we can perform this devotional service uninterruptedly. So it is very important that we have to keep our body fit to even perform this devotional service. So we have to maintain that mita medhyanam. And also it is mentioned in the nectar of instruction that atyahara prayashasa, we should not eat, we should not do over in that, like eating too much is not allowed. So next he talks about ahimsa satyam asteyam, means control over control over the body, mind, and the austerity. So the quality, it is mentioned in the qualities of the Brahmana, which is also mentioned in chapter 17 Bhagavad Gita. So it says that a Brahmana should follow the ahimsa, that is non-violence, and then he should have satyam, means he should always talk something that is truthful. Hare Krishna. So it should be always truthful, and he should asteyam. Asteyam means one should refrain from theft. So what is refrain from theft here? It is not mentioning that one should refrain from theft means not stealing exactly. It doesn't mean like that. But it says that one should not accumulate anything more than what he needs. That is also called as theft. If we are accumulating things that what more than what we require, that is also mentioned as theft. It is also mentioned, it has also been explained in nectar of instruction, that we should not accumulate anything more than what is the required for us. So this, what is this satyam, truthfulness? In Bhagavad Gita, it is mentioned that anudvegam karam vakyam satyam priyam hitam chayat. So one should talk what is pleasing to others. It should be truthful, it should be beneficial, and not agitating to others. So these are certain qualities that a Brahmana should follow, and he says that these are certain things that we have to follow so that to perform our devotional service. Next he says about Swa Adhyaya, reading scriptures. Very, very important. Always when I hear from His Grace Parameshwar Gaura Prabhu, says, did you do Swadhyaya? Means he says that read the scriptures. Every time you have to read the scriptures. Even if we are doing any other yoga, it is mentioned in the purport that in that matter, any yoga we do without reading, it is not going to be helpful. So he says reading authorized scriptures is very, very important. So what kind of scriptures we have to read? There are n number of scriptures, but we have to read only the authorized scriptures which is being prescribed by the acharyas. Acharyas, like in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, Narottama Thakur says that there are three sources from where we can get these knowledge from. That is, one is the saintly persons, second is standard scriptures, and third spiritual master. So what is saintly person? We have to go approach a saintly person who is the sannyasis. We have to hear from them, get the knowledge. Like Sukadeva Goswami was describing the entire Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. He was inquiring from the Sukadeva Goswami. Like that, we have to go approach a sannyasi or any senior Vaishnava, ask from them and get this knowledge from them. And second is standard scriptures. What are that's why it's mentioned standard scriptures. Means Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and others like Chaitanya Charitamrita, like that, which is being prescribed by our acharyas. And we have to go and submissively ask our spiritual masters to explain this kind of knowledge. So practicing yoga without reading is simply waste of time. Prabhupada explains in the purport that okay, I'm just doing the yoga. Let me just try to fix my mind in the lotus feet of the Lord, and let me be alone. Let me keep myself aloof, and then try to fix my mind in the lotus feet of the. That will not help much, because we are not understanding how the Lord is. How the Lord's potencies are. So if without understanding we cannot see the Lord in our mind. So that's very important that we have to do Swadhyaya. Next he talks about how to fix the mind by yoga practice. So here he talks, that's what yesterday Harinam Prabhu was telling. Today we will be seeing this in detail. Actually these are the yoga practices. Actually now Kapila, Lord Kapila is explaining the Sankhya philosophy, that is through, this is also a devotional practice, but through the yoga ladder. We are going to attain the supreme by using this yoga practice. So it's not the pure devotional service, but it is the devotional service by through yoga practice. So how to fix our mind by yoga practice is explained in the from the shlokas 5 to 12. It says that one has to fix their mind steady, keep their chakra in between the eyebrows. One have to go sit in the secular places. It should be silent, and fix mind in one point attention. And we have to do the breathing exercises like pranayama, control our breathe to focus our mind, and then we have to meditate, and we have to purify the air through the pranayama exercise, and we have to focus our mind, like closing our eyes. It is said that one should concentrate on the tip of the nose with half closed eyes. This means we have to focus on the tip of the nose with the half eye closed, and then focus, meditate on the form of the Lord. I know it is all very difficult in this Kali Yuga. That's why it said that all these yoga practice is difficult. Doing Bhakti Yoga is very easy, because it is like it is like an elevator which is taking to the to attain the Supreme Personality Law. Instead of climbing through the steps, we are going through the elevator, which is very easy process. It's joyfully performed. Otherwise, you have to sit. You have to find the place where it is calm, quiet, and then sit and meditate, which is not at all possible in this Kali Yuga. That's very difficult. So in this way, the yogi visualizes the Lord sitting within him, and he sees the peaceful Lord in his pastimes in his mind. So he focuses his mind, he does all these practice, and then he tries to see the Lord in his mind. And then he explains that how to meditate on the beautiful form of the Lord, starting from the lotus feet. So we cannot, the yogi will try to see the Lord inside his mind as a Paramatma form. So that is one thing that he explains. Seeing the Paramatma form in the Lord is, he follows the instructions, and he follows the instructions that is benefit after the yoga practice. So he explains that how the beautiful form he sees the beautiful form of the Lord in the heart. So in the few shlokas, it has been explained that we have to focus at the lotus feet of the Lord. Then slowly we have to see how he's been dressed, and how the Lord is, the beautiful smile of the Lord. So one has to focus. He says that one has to focus his mind on the beautiful smile of the Lord, which is called Hari, the smile of the Hari. We have to focus on that point. So in this way, the yoga, he realizes the true relationship with the Supreme Lord. So next he talks about, so like this, we by following these steps, one gradually develops a pure, loving devotional thing towards the Lord. So these are different process by which he explains that one can attain the Supreme Lord. And later he is going into the next chapter, talking about explanation of pure devotional service. So till now we saw that how we have to focus our mind doing the yoga practice, fixing our mind in the lotus feet of the Lord, and then meditate the Lord through all the yoga, and then we connect ourselves with the Supreme Lord. We see the Lord within ourselves in the heart as a Paramatma form, and then meditate on that. So that is practice, that has been explained in the previous chapter, but which is again, it is a Sankhya philosophy, it is yoga ladder. It is we have to start doing all the yoga practice to attain the Supreme Lord. Now Devahuti is inquiring from Lord to explain the pure devotional service. She says that, Lord, you please explain the devotional service, which is the ultimate end of all philosophical systems. Till now you have explained all that is, through the other scientific systems, but now please try to explain me which is the easiest way. So she asked, first one is, she asked that please explain the devotional, pure devotional service. Then she asked, please explain in detail the continual process of birth and death. That is Samshruti. Samshruti means repetition of birth and death. She says why she is asking this, because she says that in the purport it is mentioned, because after hearing the process of the birth and death and the problems what we undergo during the birth and death, we may think, the living entity may think once that, okay, such a difficult process, let me not take birth again, let me focus my mind at the lotus feet of the Lord, and let me not come back again into this material world, and they will try going back to the Supreme Lord. So she says that please explain the process also, why it is important, why the process of birth and death is misery. So she puts she's asking for the Loka Mangala, for the benefit of the entire humanity. She's asking this to Lord Kapila. And then she asks that please also explain the Kala, that is eternal time. The Supreme Lord has the eternal time. So please explain that also in detail. So she says that she glorifies the Lord before she, when she is saying this, she glorifies the Lord also, that, oh Lord, you are just like a sun. Please illuminate the darkness of conditioned life of living entities. She says that because the living entities are in the sleeping state, they are in the dormant state. So please explain. You are like the sun which can illuminate. So she calls him as a Yoga Bhaskara. Means Yoga Bhaskara is the sun which illuminates the darkness. So even the Srimad Bhagavatam, we call it as the sun, because we are in the dormant state, we are in the sleeping state, in the ignorance, where we don't have the knowledge of the Lord. So the Bhagavatam as the sun comes, and then it gives the knowledge, it gives us to understand what is the supreme. So that is why it is called as the sun. That's why she called him as sun. You please come and then illuminate the darkness of the conditional living entities. So before, and this is also one more thing, that before we inquire from anybody, we should glorify them first. And then, like, when we go and approach our spiritual master or any senior acharyas, we must glorify even the Lord. Before we enter to the altar, we have to glorify the Lord. And then pay our obeisances, and then we have to start our questions with him. So here the explanations by Lord Kapila is coming, that whatever questions been asked by Devahuti is been one by one answered by Lord Kapila. So here Lord Kapila, the first answer, the first question what she asked is, tell me about the pure devotional service. So he says that there are multifarious paths of devotional service there. So as we all know, there is a Navavida Bhakti, which is called Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam, which has been told by Prahlada in Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.23, that there are Navavida Bhaktis there, that there are different ways of devotional service. So these Navavida Bhakti is also performed in 3 different modes. So also there is said there are different kinds of people who approach the Lord. He says there are different kinds of people who approach me. So for example, he says that it is said in the Bhagavad Gita also, 7.16, that Chaturvida Bhajante Mam, that 4 kinds of people who approach me. One, those who are in the distress, those who want desire of wealth, and those who are inquisitive, and those who are searching for knowledge. These are 4 kinds of people who approach the Lord, and they also fall into devotional service. And it is being performed with 3 different modes. All these Navavida Bhakti are performed with the 3 modes. So we all know the 3 modes, that is Sattva, Raja and Tamogun. So he explains further that how this devotional service is executed with the 3 modes. So mode of ignorance. He says the people in the mode of ignorance, the Tamogun, they have envious, proud, violent and angry. So how does this proud come? So he says that in the purport it is very nicely explained that the proud means proud of his own personality. He thinks I am the best. And sometimes they are envious about others in the devotional service, and sometimes they show the anger, and sometimes he says that I am the best of among all the devotees. So these kind of feelings comes for the person who are in the mode of ignorance. They are doing devotional service, but they are in the mode of ignorance. So even in all the bhakti, either it can be kirtanam, it can be in shravanam, it can be in smaranam, in all these 3 modes are there. So next goes with the mode of passion. So what is mode of passion? It says about separatist. Separatist means is one who sees his interest as a separate from that Lord. He sees that whatever he is doing, he is seeing that Lord is an order supplier. So seeing that whatever he wants, he is doing it for his own sense gratification, expecting everything for his own sense pleasure. So he doesn't do anything for the interest of the Lord, but he does everything for his own interest. That is the person who is in the mode of, he does everything, but he does it for his own pleasure. For example, like we go to Tirupati, and then most of the people, when they travel to Tirupati, they will have a business dealing with the Lord. Like, okay, I will come to Tirupati, I will come to you, and I will give my this thing if you are fulfilling my desire. So this is called, these are the people, those who are in the mode of passion. They always try to do a business dealing with the Lord. And next is the people, those who are in the mode of goodness. Those who offer the result of his activities to free himself from material bondage. So these are the people, those who are in the mode of sattva gun. They do it as karma apanam, means offered prescribed duties for the satisfaction of the Lord. They do everything for the pleasure of the Lord. Like as it said in Bhagavad Gita, yat karoshi. So next goes, so these are the three different modes how the devotional practice is done. So this has been explained by Lord Kapila, and then he says, the further he explains the pure devotional service, how to develop the unadulterated devotional service. So this shloka is very, very beautiful and very nice to memorize also. It says, Mad guna shruti matrena mai sarva guhashaye manogati ravinchinna yatha gangamsho ambudho lakshanam bhakti yogasya nirgunasya hi udahritam ahaituki avya vahita ya bhakti purushottame. So he says the manifestation of unadulterated devotional service is exhibited when one's mind is at once attracted to hearing the transcendental name and qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is residing in everyone's heart, just as the water of Ganges flow naturally down towards the ocean. Such devotional ecstasy, uninterrupted by any material condition, flows towards the Supreme Lord. So here we can see Matguna Shruti Matrena. Matguna Shruti Matrena means just by hearing the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. So it is also explained in Bhagavatam, Shunvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanam. So just by hearing the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, the heart can be purified, and he can perform the devotional service. In that moment he can just see the Lord within himself. So that is Madguna Shruti Matrena being explained. Next he talks about Avinchinna. Avinchinna means without interruptions. So no material condition can stop the flow of devotional service of pure devotee. So that is like how the Yatha Gangambasho Ambudau Lakshanam Bhakti Yogasya means the Yatha Gangambasho. So how the Ganges flows uninterruptedly towards the ocean. Similarly, the bhakti can be taken towards the Lord uninterruptedly if it been performed, if the chanting is being taken. So there will be a lot of hindrances for the Ganga to flow. There will be mountains, there will be stones, there will be rocks, and there will be trees in between, but she is not disturbed by any of these conditions. She just flows continuously, uninterruptedly towards the goal. Similarly, we have to take the devotional service, whatever may come in the material things, whatever disturbance comes in our material life, we have to take it smoothly in the devotional practice. Now, like how we are now in this material condition, we are locked down, but still we have to enakena prakarena find some other solution, some way in which we can perform the devotional service. Also in Srimad Bhagavatam, Kunti Maharani also says the same thing in 1.8.42. Tvai me ananya vishaya matir madhu pate sakrat ratim udvahatat adha gange vyahum udanvati. O Lord of Madhu, as the Ganges forever flows to the sea without hindrance, let my attraction be constantly drawn into you without being diverted to anyone else. So she also prays to the Lord that let my attraction be constantly drawn unto you without being diverted to anything else. So we should pray to the Lord that whatever comes uninterruptedly, I should do my devotional service unto you. So this is how one can develop the devotional service to the Lord. So here we can see that one more thing, just by hearing the transcendental name, one becomes purified. So we have to keep hearing, chanting the holy name of the Lord. That is the process in Kali Yuga also. Just nothing can help us. Only the chanting of the holy name can help us, take us towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is the process which is being recommended in this age of Kali. So we have to just do that when we do the chanting of the holy name of the Lord has no non-different from the holy name. He is the same. He is the form, and the name of the Lord is non-different. So the moment we take the holy name of the Lord, and by even the hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam, the heart is at once being cleansed, and then the Lord comes and sits in our heart, and then he can manifest in our heart. So this is very important that we have to uh, do in our devotional service, just chanting the holy name of the Lord. So next he is talking about how the qualities of a pure devotee should be. So slowly he is explaining that how the devotional practice, what is the pure devotional service, and after doing the devotional service, the quality of a pure devotee, how should be the quality of a pure devotee should be, like he is explaining that. So the pure devotee does not accept any kind of liberation, even it is offered by a supreme Lord. So he says that any mukti, even they don't even ask for any mukti, like salokya, sashti, samipya, and whatever mukti also, they don't even bother about all those things. They just simply want to serve the supreme person. Even in the hellish condition, they say, even if I am taking birth in the hell, no problem, just let me be in your service. That should be the mood of a pure devotee. He can overcome the influence of three modes of material nature. That is, as it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita also, Devi Esha Gunamahi Mama Maya Duratya Mameva Prapatyanti Mayamitam Tarantite. So just we have to surrender to the Lord, and we can overcome the three modes of material nature. Then execute his prescribed duties according to his social order without material profit. One should just perform his activity without expecting any material. That is the sattva gun, the mode of the devotee in the mode of sattva gun. So he does not expect any result out of his activity. Then the pure devotee regularly worships the pure devotee regularly worships the Lord with prayers. So Archavikara, every day he worships, he prays to the Lord, he worships the Lord in the deity form. And then he sees every living entity as the spiritual soul. Means he always he sees that each and every living entity is the part and parcel of the Lord. Every living entity is Paramatma is sitting in their heart. So he respects each and every soul. So as mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Sunichaiva Swapakecha Pandita Samadarshana. He says even everything equally. He does not discriminate between the cat or a dog or a animal or black or anything. Like he sees everything equal. That is the quality of a pure devotee. And he gives great respect to his spiritual master and the acharyas. That we have seen. Also it is in our Ashtakam, in the Guru Ashtakam, we sing that Sakshat Daritvena Samastra Sastri. We respect the spiritual master equally as the Supreme Lord, because he is the representative of Lord himself. And he is compassionate with non-devotees, and he is friendly with his equal. So here this is again talking about the adhikaris like Uttama Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, and the Kanishta Adhikari. So he sees the Kanishta Adhikari who is the non-devotees, and then he becomes compassionate. He becomes like, he is compassionate to that devotee. So the quality of a Vaishnava is that he is always para dukkha dukhi. He always wants to serve everyone. He wants to be compassionate with all the living entities. So he is always want to be in that compassionate state. So, and then he is friendly with his equal, that Madhyama Adhikari level. Yeah. Then he goes, he says that always try to hear the spiritual matters and utilizes his time in chanting the holy name of the Lord. So he, whenever we get time, the devotees, if you see, they always talk about Bhagavatam or this, that class or this class, and they always try to use the time, even 1 minute if they get, they try to, okay, let me just finish my rounds and all that. So this is also explained in Bhagavad Gita that mat chitta mat kata prana bodhayanta parasparam katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti. They get pleasure just by talking about the glories of the Lord. So this is also the one of the quality of a pure devotee. So also he's straightforward and simple. He avoids the company of persons who are not spiritually advanced. Asat sangat yaha. It's very, very important. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always says that one should not associate with the people who is too much attracted with women or wealth. So we should try to avoid those who are materially asat sangat yaha. Asat means those persons who are too much materially attached. We should avoid those persons association. Anyone who develop these qualities, his consciousness will be purified and he can immediately be attracted towards the holy name of the Lord. So how this happens, when can we get the attraction towards the holy name? Only when we develop these pure qualities of the qualities. So then he talks about respect everyone. That is, one who worships the deity of Godhead in the temples but does not know that the Supreme Lord as Paramatma is situated in every living entity's heart must be in ignorance and is compared to one who offers oblations into ashes. So here the very important key point here is one should not kill the animals, the slaughterhouse. If you see here in the purport where Srila Prabhupada says every living entity should be kindly treated and should not be subjected to any violence. In modern civilized societies, slaughterhouses are regularly maintained and supported by a certain type of religious principle. So he is insisting on this point that one should not kill animals. So the non-violence is not good. So each one of it should be, everyone should be respected, and even the animals should be given their freedom. So now we are moving into the next question what Devagati asked. It is about the kala, which is eternal time. So the time factor who causes the transformation of the various material manifestation is another feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anyone who does not know that the time is the Supreme Personality is afraid of the time factor. So this is very, very important. Everyone is afraid of time. Everyone in this world is afraid of time. So even the wind, the sun and rain comes out of fear of Supreme Lord. So even the demigods work under the order of the Supreme Lord. If we notice that the demigods are all working under the supervision of the Lord, like how we in our office, we are all just working under the supervision of our senior heads or the CEO. The demigods are all assigned with their jobs, and they are all have to work under the instructions of the Lord. So it has been mentioned in Bhagavad Gita that Maya Dakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. So the nature is working under my direction. Lord says that the nature is working under my direction. Foolish people think that it has been automatically done. No, it is under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The nature is being controlled and then worked. And the time comes as death for a living entity. So here I remember our Jagan Prabhu says always this quote: Krishna comes as death to a devotee, and devotee for a death comes as Krishna to non-devotee. Means for a devotee, he easily accepts. He will be waiting for death because he wants to see Krishna. But for non-devotee, the death is a fearful factor because death comes as Krishna. He sends the death first. So that is one very fearful factor for us. So whatever has been produced by the materialistic within great pain and labors for so-called happiness, the Supreme Personality as the time factor destroys. And for this reason, the conditioned soul laments. So as we all know, man proposes, God disposes. Whatever we do, the God will destroy everything as the time comes. So even now we would have done so many plans. For this month I will do that, next month I will do this, for this vacation I'll go here. So we have done so many plans, but everything is being collapsed or been rearranged by the Lord, that okay, I am the controller here, please remember. So he's showing us that I am existing, I am the controller of the time, I am deciding factor here. So he's showing that nothing you can plan, only you can do according to my will. So here Lord is showing his presence to us. So Chanakya Pandit, who is a great philosopher, he also says that even one moment of time cannot be written even if one is prepared to pay millions of dollars. So whatever the time we have spent now, that cannot be taken back now. So also, so next is also in Bhagavatam, there is a beautiful shloka which says Ayun Harati Vaipumsam. So it says that both by rising and by setting of the sun decreases the duration of the life of everyone. except one who utilizes time, diminishing the topics of Lord. So every moment we should remember, this shloka says that each and every moment we should expect the death. Okay, next moment could be mine, next moment could be. So remembering that, we have to engage ourselves in the devotional practice. We have to remember the Lord every moment of our life. So this is what Kapila explains to us as the time factor to us, and then he is moving on to the adverse of fruitive activities. I'm running out of time, I'm sorry for this. It's a huge vast chapter, I don't know which one to leave and which one to cover. Adverse of fruitive activities, the living entities out of ignorance think everything exists in material world is permanent. That's the first and foremost problem of a human entity, that they think that everything here is permanent. They are going to enjoy their life. He sees himself as a body but not as the spirit soul. He thinks, okay, this is the body, so I have to take care of this. I have to live for this life. So let me live my happy life happily until my. So they say, right, oh, my death is there. So I'm just having this life. Let me just enjoy to my extent. So by this they do the mistakes and then they commit lot of adharmas. So because of this, the living entity is satisfied with whatever species he appears. So, because of that, what they do all the adharmas and then they commit all the problems into their life. So, which is also beautifully explained in the purport that Indra caused by Brahaspati. So, Brahaspati is Indra is getting cursed by Brahaspati for his misbehavior. Because of that, he comes as a hog in this planet. So after many days, Brahma wanted to recall him, but Indra forget his position and refused to go back. Means that Indra is satisfied with whatever, even in the hog's body, because he is getting his food, he is enjoying here. So that is how our living condition, our material condition also. Each and every living entity thinks that, okay, I got this body, I am here, I am having a happy life here, my the family is very good, this is that. So we think and then we try to live in this material life happily. So then due to all this bodily attachments, the living entity struggles till the end of their life and dies in great grief and pain. Without consciousness they die. So after dying, we see that the Yamudutas take the subtle body and he undergoes severe punishments. This has been explained in the verses from 21 to 34. Why this has been very elaborately explained is because Devotee is asking, please explain to us that what is the problems of birth and death. Because if we know these are the problems that we go through, and then we may think that twice that to take a rebirth, we will try to regulate our life. But so what are the problems we go, like in the Garuda Purana also it has been explained, there are different types of punishments which go through, like it will be when they are taking the subtle body, they will be bitten by a dog. Sometimes we will be passing in the hot sun, in the hot sand, the Yamudutas will be whipping us, there will be no water, the limbs will be set in fire, and sometimes the serpents or the scorpions will be biting us. So there are so many punishments which has been explained in the verses from 21 to 34 that we have to take time and read it. So by reading that, we'll know that these are the problems that we in the material life after leaving the body we'll face. So then she says, so there is no control over our birth or death now, but one thing what we can do is we can stop our rebirth. So by taking this devotional service, devotional path, we can stop our next birth. So that is how the adverse of fruitive activities goes. So now I'm moving on to the next chapter, the last one, that is instructions on the movement of living entities. So he says that how a living entity is taken birth. First shloka is very beautiful shloka. The personality of God had said, under the supervision of the Supreme Lord and according to the result of his work, the living entity, the soul, is made to enter into the womb of a woman through the particle of a male semen to assume a particular type of body. So this is how the human life is being created. Each one of us are taking birth by this process. So what happens after the formation? He describes the formation and the growth of living entity in the womb. From text 2 to 10, he is explaining that how the baby is formed in the womb of a mother. Until 6 months, the fetus has no consciousness. And from the 7th month, the living entity regains its consciousness and prays. And the 7th month, till the 6th month, the living being is in the dormant condition. They are in the sleeping, they are in a sleeping condition. But in the 7th month onwards, the consciousness being awakened by the mercy of the Lord. And then they start praying to the Lord from the womb. Oh Lord, I have taken shelter at the lotus feet of you. The pure soul, appearing now, bound to my activities. I am lying in the womb of my mother by arrangement of Maya. I am separated from the Supreme Lord because of my being in this material world. Oh my Lord, when shall I be released from this confinement? My dear Lord, by your causeless mercy, I am awakened to consciousness, although I am only 10 months old. So at the 10 months old, the baby is being given the consciousness and then starts praying to the Lord from then. Then what happens? I do not, sorry. Let's stop this. Okay, I do not wish to depart from the abdomen to fall again into the blind well of the materialistic life. However, the child is pushed down and takes birth in this material world. So this is again causing the cycle of birth and death. So like Sripad Shankaracharya also sings a beautiful bhajan which is called Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Modamate. In that it comes very beautifully. Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani Sayanam, Ida Samsare Bahudukkare, Kripaya Pahi Pahi Murare. So she says that, oh my Lord, please, by your mercy, please protect me from the cycle of birth and death. So this is the condition of a living entity when they takes birth into this material world. So now for a man, woman is the Maya, and for woman, man is the Maya. When the physical body, the place where the perception of object occurs, is rendered incapable of perceiving, that is known as the death. So when one begins to review the physical body as one's very self, that is called birth. So when we try to understand ourselves, when we know that we are the body, then that is called the birth of ourself. So by rendering devotional service, only by rendering devotional service, one can become free from this cycle of birth and death. So that's why taking up this path of devotional service is very, very important. And Lord Kapila is instructing that this is the most easiest and joyful way. So take this process. So what are the instructions that we are going to take away from here? So the objective of yoga is to connect mind with the Supreme Lord. Whatever yoga, everything is only to connect the Supreme Lord. And we have to respect everyone as a spirit soul existing in everyone's heart. And we have to imbibe the qualities of the pure devotees. We should overcome samsriti. Samsriti means the repeated birth and death by hearing and chanting the holy name of the Lord. Engage mind in the loving devotional service of the Lord, which is joyful to perform. So these are the instructions the Lord Kapila is telling us to take away home, that we have to follow all these things to become a pure devotee of the Lord. So here, last but not the least, Prabhupada is telling us what is devotional service. Devotional service to Krishna is the chief function of the living entity. There are different methods for the liberation of the conditioned soul. There may be Karma Yoga, Jnana, Dhyana Yoga and Bhakti, but all are dependent on Bhakti. All these yogas are leading us only to the Bhakti process. Hare Krishna. So here I end with my presentation. Thanks to His Grace Jagan Prabhu and Bandhu Baldev Prabhu for giving me this opportunity to do this seva. It's very good opportunity for me that for the past 2-3 days I'm just reading all the entire third, whatever chapter has been assigned to me from one by one, each purport and translations. So it has been a great seva for me that to read and then to explain those to all of you.